Welcome back there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode here in mid-Canterbury, New Zealand. We're on this dairy grazing and cropping farm. Today we'll be doing a few different jobs. So just going to go open this set of gates because we've got to get these herd of calves back in, these little shits, if I'm completely honest. But I never checked the power yesterday, so it may have been my fault. But we have got some things to do today, some different things, some digger things, some tractor things, some mechanical things. But also yesterday we got a new toy delivered, which is pretty damn cool. Second hand, of course. We've been wanting a set of these for a wee while, and it's a great backup for our grubber, so that we've got insurance, if you will, going into... Oh hey Oscar. So we've got insurance going into the cultivation season. If one breaks down, then we can hook up the other one and go. And it's all the same width, so we don't have to worry about one machine's 5 meters wide and then the other's 6 meters wide. This is them here. So 2 rows of discs and a set of packers and 6 meters wide. They've got hoses comes all the way to the back, and then a drawbar hitch. And so they're obviously not brand new. We've got a crack in the frame here, we see, and then there's another crack just further back. But also some of these rubber components, these rubber springs, if you will, are just slowly moving out. So we've got some work to do to it, but otherwise it's in pretty good nick. And it's still red, of course, which is pretty important for us, as you can see. Aha, this is what's happened. So obviously something on the main road has spooked them and they've just bolted. Bugger. Well, I'm lucky I left that on time lapse because there are a lot of swear words I was saying down there that I'm not allowed to say. Little shits. I figured out why these girls broke out, and it's simply the passing bays are right there, and so obviously someone's cut someone off and tooted their horn and they've got spooked by it. So unfortunately they've got this one as well now. Come with me, guys, we'll go round these girls up. As you can see, this is the other end. You guys were down there before, now I'm up this end, and this is what they've destroyed. And unfortunately they've camped out there for a wee bit before breaking out, and they've stubbed out the grass. That will regrow, but it's obviously going to be less than the rest of this paddock, which is a shame. Just got to find the end to this, do a reef knot, bang it back on, wind it in, and then it goes out that way directly towards that pivot stopper. If you guys can see it, there's a herd of calves there on the oats just to the left of them. It'll be straight through, and then that'll be the next break. Instead of taking it down and taking it back to the yard, I'll just bang it straight up that way. So we obviously here use the guy rope system. Odd steps. So here we are at the opposite ends. The reel will go on here onto this fence. These girls here into the next paddock there on oats. As you can see, the oats have just changed colour slightly, or the frost that we have has given it a little bit of rust, if you will. But they're still good, they're still palatable, and these girls are doing really good. They're fat and round all the time that you see them. They were spring born. Whether these girls here that broke out, they were autumn born, so they're coming up 6 months old. Great addition to a bike, that thing. These autumn born calves, I think from memory there's about 125, and there are 110 of these girls. Oh. Check. 8.3, that's pretty good. Right, next herd. Well, welcome back guys, good to have you along. Now as you can see, cows are in the yard there. The dairy farmer is breaking down which ones need to go home and then which ones can stay. The ones that need to go home are going to calve, the ones that are going to stay aren't going to calve, and they can carry on eating off our crop, simply because we've got a little bit extra crop left, but the dairy farmer is happy to take it up to save his grass back at the farm, of course. Radio, so here we are in front of the cultivator. Now Dad and I, unfortunately the sound wasn't working of course, but Dad and I went around and checked these bearings, and we've left a little bit of rag on the ones that are faulty that we need to replace, so I'll be whooping those off. But as you can see here, these rubber mounts have started to move out, so I'm going to undo these and push them back in. Got quite a lot to do, and I think it's a wee bit explanatory, but we've had to order 10 new bearings and they're about $150 each. It's going to be expensive, but otherwise guys, I may as well sit you over here in the corner and I'll just play away on this, and we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously it's not as sunny as yesterday, And I am wearing the same clothes because as a farmer, you've got to wear the same clothes until they can stand up next to you. Then it's time to wash them. But I've just got the tractor warming up. I've just got to go feed out a few bales. We lost a herd this morning on purpose. So that's another herd that's gone home to the dairy farm now. They were split up yesterday, like I said. So the ones that have been drafted have gone home. The ones that have been drafted the other way have stayed, and of course now we only have 2 herds left. So we've got about, I think it's about 600 cows left. So we're really dropping in numbers and there's less and less work to do, and because of the rain we aren't able to get cultivating. So now we're just doing little bits and bobs. We've got that new cultivator to work on, of course, but I'm just here to show you guys something here. And here we are here, this sweet stuff. And so this is all our wheat here, all set to go in the ground. But we just got to wait for the ground conditions to come right so we can get the stuff in the ground safely. So this stuff has been dressed by Johnny O'Neill. He's got a mobile seed dressing business and he does a good job, and he does all of our stuff. And so here's the chemicals that went on to the treated seed. We've got Pretty Active 109. And then we've got Quinto Duro, which is a seed treatment fungicide control. So I better put these in the recycling. Exhibit A and Exhibit B. So as you can see, we've got a paddock of oats here that aren't quite finished. And we've got calves over here on grass. Why is that? Well, young grass here has been going through the winter, and so we thought we could get a rotation with these young calves, 110 of them, across all the young grass paddocks, which is 3 of them, totaling about just under 30 hectares. And then they can come back around nearing springtime when the grass is really growing back faster, and we can save oats, because then up there past those hedges we have sold some extra feed to some more dairy farmers. So by pulling the calves off these oats earlier, so that we're able to sell some more winter feed. And of course, strategy gets those paddocks up the top there that are in oats that the cows are on finished up earlier so that we can get our barley in the ground. Right, this is what the start looks like. And there's the bale set out. And that's the bales fed out. As you can see, I've flipped this bale up sideways so that I can put the wrap on the bale so that the cows can't get to it and pull it and walk around with it. Because often it does get stuck on the air tags and they can run pretty fast compared to me through mud. So I'll get myself out of this paddock and I'll see you guys over there by that little orange digger. So this here, guys, is the little orange digger that I was on yesterday. I was digging a little hole here in the ground to drain out this corner because it just keeps on filling up with water, and no matter what we do it just pulls here. So our plans are to put trees along here, just low planting varieties, because the pivots come through here and we don't want the trees to be in the way of the pivots, of course, but it will be enough to take up this area and stop it from being somewhat of a wetland. Our idea is to put concrete in here so it just stops it from flooding again along with the trees. Now you're probably thinking, why are we putting concrete in there and we're not digging the hole physically inside the paddock? Well, we've got a lot of concrete sitting around that we can chuck in that hole, but if we put it in the paddock, concrete slowly rises to the top and then will of course be hooked by a plough or some earth moving machine and come to the surface and be dragged through the paddock, and we'd have to re-dig it again. So that's why the hole's there and not in there, and we'll put the concrete in the hole, then fill it back over with shingle, and we can take the topsoil away and put it in the paddock. So if you guys can see it over there, we've got 1 herd of cows, and then over there, that's where I just fed those girls straw. That's the only 2 herds we have left currently that we look after. Now these girls here have got 2 days left over there, and then they'll move across to this paddock here and finish off this one. Of course, when those girls over there have finished that paddock there, these girls here have finished that paddock there, it leaves this half here with one herd up this end and one herd up the other end. And they can quickly eat their way into the center, and that gets that paddock done. It's just a strategy so that we've got the maximum amount of land able to be cultivated at any time, because the weather could turn, dry out, and we've got two herds on separate paddocks. Whoops, almost forgot about these. Oh, yep. While I'm here, I may as well fill you in on why these set of yards are here. Just imagine the ease that our dairy farmer has when he's got these set of yards here, instead of those set of yards back at our yards, for him to put cows that have calved in here, then into the holding pen, and then into his trailer. And then of course it can also be used for medicating cows, but he'll go out, find the cow and the calf, bring them both in, put them in the trailer, and off he goes, instead of walking them 500, 600, 700 meters back to the yard, which can often be a pain. This afternoon I did plan on working on this machine, but I got called away because our new legs have been finished up, and here they are. So we've got a digger tooth tine that will go on here, but then we've also got a tungsten tip at the front here, a hardened surface that will not wear very easily in our soil. I am not going to waste any time fitting these, because I want to get this machine out into the paddock. So me rushing into Ashburton and getting these ripper legs, that's the third time that they've been to Ashburton, and they need to go to town for a fourth time now. So as what's happening is, you can see this bolt won't go through, the hole hasn't been made big enough, but also up here you can see the corner isn't going to let this leg fold back out of the way once that front bolt snaps if I hit something in the ground. So that's sitting there like that, that's as far as it can go. Anyone want a dentist appointment? Woohoo! Well, that's that guy in. Now you guys are probably wondering what this third bolt is all about. Well, we've got one here, that's the shear bolt. We've got the big one at the back, high tensile. That's the hinge, of course. But this guy at the front, what does he do? Well, you see these two uprights? This guy here clamps them two together to stop this leg from moving to wear out these bolt holes. As you can see, it's rigid. So that bolt is doing its job, and these new legs are the correct width. It's getting really cold outside, so I'm going to head inside, and hey, hopefully you guys have learnt something. The last thing is, the last herd of cows that are leaving this property are going to leave on about the 20th of August. Those are the late calvers that I fed straw to this morning. Now, hopefully we've got all the cultivation up to date before they leave, because they'll leave off kale. We'll of course be putting wheat in that paddock, which is spring sown. It's feed wheat this year, not milling, because of the prices and also politics. Hopefully on this episode you guys have learned something about this operation, learned something about farming, and hopefully you've gained some knowledge from it. Hey, cheers for watching guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.